Fantastic. So, hello and welcome everyone to our second Mind and Body Academy in this webinar series, featuring lots of wonderful different guests. I'm really excited for this series because it means I get to meet some people who I wouldn't necessarily have met in another way. And you get to hear about all the wonderful things that they do as well. Now, this is part of the Mind Body Academy content, and we're continuing adding to all our resources, whether it's with courses, programs, workshops, and retreats. And it's our hope that as we work with different guest speakers, such as Neil and Kat on the one previously, that we will find some potential new partners and some collaborations along the way. So it's great fun for me, and hopefully it's going to be fantastic for you. I'm hoping that you've either got some lunch or you've got a drink and you're going to use this time to be just focused on you and what Neil's got to say. And so you take this as a proper wellness lunchtime for you. So this session is going to explore the powerful practice of earthing and grounding and its impact on reducing stress, improving sleep and enhancing vitality. Neil's going to talk through some history of it, some practical tips, and all kinds of other wonderful things. I'm not going to ruin, I'll let him show for you. So Neil is a holistic wellness practitioner. He's accredited with IPHM and the UK Reiki Federation. He's the founder of Good Life Wellness and the author of Secrets of Serenity. He specializes in Reiki, sound healing, EFT, and crystal therapy. And he's just told me he's also added reflexology to his list of things that he can help you with as well. He's passionate about empowering others to find balance and harmony through natural healing practices. So I am really excited for this. To say, any questions you may have, do write them down and then Neil can answer them for you at the end of this. So Neil, my love, I'm going to be quiet now and leave it over to yourself.
Thank you, Joanna. Hi, everybody. Hope you can all hear me okay. I'm currently sunning myself in the lovely island of Crete. We arrived yesterday, so there may be some slight background of sunbeds being shifted around to get the best sun, so I do apologise. Yeah, so I'm here. I'm delighted. It's my first webinar for a while, and I'm here to talk to you about earthing and grounding. So, what is earthing and grounding? In simple terms, it's the practice of physically connecting your body to the Earth's surface. Okay? It's based on the idea that the Earth carries a negative electrical charge. I'm sorry about the hands, but I am very visual with my hand. Direct skin contacts with the ground, and it absorbs these free electrons, which are completely free, which helps restore natural balance. On a spiritual level, grounding means centering yourself, anchoring your energy, and feeling connected to that present moment when you connect to the Earth. So the scientific perspective behind earthing and grounding, how we can find this free, beautiful healing modality, is above the Earth's surface, about 60 miles up in the ionosphere, is a belt of energy that goes around the Earth. The best way to visualize it, I've got a singing bowl here, okay? So imagine 60 miles around the Earth's surface is a belt of energy which is constantly charged by the sun, okay? Got the singing bowl there. So this belt of energy is being charged by fantastic amounts of energy all the time. And it becomes so intense and so massive that it has to discharge somewhere. And it explodes. And it explodes down to Earth and discharges down to Earth. And we see that as lightning. So what comes down to Earth is negative energy. And the positive stuff stays up there. So the negative energy hits the surface of the Earth and charges the surface of the Earth with negative energy. In the 1960s, the Americans invented rubber. And everybody stopped connecting with the Earth's surface. But before that, we had leather soles, we had cork, we walked barefoot. With much less illness, much less inflammation, much less things making us feel ill all the time. So when we start disconnecting from the earth, we start to store static electricity from all different types of technology, machinery, radio frequency, EMFs, telephone signals, Wi-Fi, static. Anybody get little electric shocks when they touch the fridge door? You're storing electricity. Okay, we're electrical beings, and the problem is when we store that electricity, it puts us out of balance, makes us feel unwell, makes us feel sick. I remember when I was a kid, I'm 62. My dad used to have a little rubber strip on the back of his car that used to touch the ground as we drove along when we were going to the coast because we used to get car sick. And when he put this little rubber strip on, it had like a little metal strip that touched the surface of the road. We didn't, it stopped us feeling car sick. So what that did was discharge the car of any static electricity that it had because it's running on rubber wheels. And that's what we need to do on a regular basis. I do it every day. Um, Static electricity that we store in our bodies is a root cause of inflammation in our bodies. Um, and inflammation is a known factor of most illnesses in the West nowadays. Okay, starts with inflammation. So by connecting to negative energy, you're flushing out all the free radicals that are making you feel ill, making you feel restless, brain fuzz, lack of sleep, no concentration. Just by connecting to the Earth's surface or a tree or something connected to the ground, you're flushing out all those horrible, nasty charges that are making you feel ill. And the way to do it is you can lower your stress hormones like cortisol, bring that nice calm feeling. Um, it stabilizes the nervous system, moves you out of the fight or flight mode into rest and digest, which is wonderful. You know, it improves your blood circulation and your viscosity of the blood as well. So by just doing something so free and so natural, we can improve our health untold. You know, the pharmaceutical companies don't really want you to do too much grounding because they like you to go back and knock on the pharmacist door and say, "Can I have some, tablets for my head?" Or, feeling a bit ill. And it keeps the wheels going in the pharmaceutical industry, doesn't it? But it's actually something that's completely free and we can just do it ourselves. Um, Published research has found that the benefits of pain reduction and wound healing and mood regulation can be done just by earthing and grounding. And it's a really simple thing to do. The spiritual and energetic view of it is also that it affects your root chakra. So I know you guys will be into your chakra, but if you're not, the root chakra is at the base of the spine, vertically, which is the one that gives you the grounding and the stability and security in your life. And sometimes when we don't ground and we don't connect, we lose that security and we feel unsure about things. And, when we're going into a really important meeting or something like that, or we've got something, a little bit out of norm, like a meeting or so today. I did some grounding before I came just to calm myself and get myself into the zone. And it was perfect. Um, it's indigenous wisdom. The humans are not separated from nature at all. Connecting to the earth restores harmony. It balances grounding. It helps release excess or stagnant energy that we've built up in our bodies and revitalizes it. Just stop touching the earth. So the signs that you may need some grounding. So what are those things? So if you're feeling anxious or scattered in your head or you're just feeling difficult focus or sleeping issues, feeling disconnected, out of sorts and, not feeling yourself or just a little bit, I'm not 100%. I don't know what's wrong with me. Overstimulation from technology and other environments. So, you could be working at an office or in an office all day, hubbub of PCs and office situations and lots of noise, just by disconnecting yourself. And you can do that without actually physically going outside and grounding, which I'm going to explain. We're going to have a little practice of that at some point in the next few minutes. Spiritual practices can also leave you living a bit floaty. So when people come to me and they have a Reiki treatment, I always insist that we do some grounding afterwards to bring the people, bring my clients back to earth, as it were. Because some people go float off in a lovely spiritual way, which is perfect in Reiki. Also with EFT tapping, it can release emotional stresses and triggers, but it's important to bring clients back to work so they're ready to either drive home or get on the bus or do things. I don't want to leave them up in the air and then have issues afterwards. So we will do some grounding afterwards, and it's a really good thing to do. So the simplest way to do it is to take off your socks and your shoes and go outside onto the grass or into the soil or into the sand or in the sea or in a river or into a natural environment. The only thing you cannot really ground on is a plastic coated, like the resin drives that you can see now in people's, people having these resin put on the drives, because it's a plastic coating. You're not going to get any grounding through that. However, if it's raining and that plastic drive is covered in water, you will be grounded because the water was connected to the non-insulated ground as well outside. Okay, so it will be connected to the earth at some point, or the pavement outside. You just by simply just standing on the resin drive in the rain, as long as it's wet, you'll be grounded. You'll be getting the same benefit. The best way to ground is in a body of water, which is a river or a sea, or a stream or something that's connected, because you get the whole body experience. Okay? The wetter the better is the phrase I always use, and the palm of the hands always have a natural, well, mine do, always have a natural coating of perspiration and sweat, and also the feet. So by taking off your socks and shoes, or just holding a tree, or doing the garden without gloves on, okay, if you still have your boots, but get your hands into that ground and touch that soil, you're instantly repairing yourself and making you feel better, reducing inflammation, restoring balance in your body, improving your circulation, reducing stress hormones without even realizing you're doing it. And how lovely does it feel when you're at the seaside to take off your socks and shoes and go paddling along the shoreline and walking down the beach, up and down the sea. Hundreds and hundreds of people doing it because it's so soothing, isn't it? We have a place at the East Coast in Filey, and the water is absolutely freezing all the time. It's never warm, and people are drawn to water because it just feels so wonderful to get your feet in that sea, walk along that sand, and just switch and disconnect from everything at the moment. You may be talking to your family, walking the dog. It doesn't matter. The simple fact is you're taking time out for yourself, and that's what's important. Because we spend so much time trying to please everybody else and giving out so much love, we forget to give ourselves some love. So by earthing and grounding, we're doing it. Laying on the ground in a park, picnicking or gardening, are fantastic ways to do it. Sometimes I get in the summer months where lots of parks around us, and I'd go out into the parks, so I physically lay down on the ground and touch my face on the grass, and I get a few looks, and people go, "It's amazing." But when they come up to you and say, "What on earth are you doing?" Then you explain to them. They think, oh, then they suddenly start tuning in, thinking, I think I'll give that. And before we know it, we've got 5 or 6 people all laid down, kissing the ground and with a face on the grass. It's wonderful. I'm I'm a delivery driver. So a little bit about me. I work for a big supermarket chain. I watch it. And I drive those little vans around that knocks on the door and goes to shopping. And during my break time, I'm storing electricity. So I'm touching handsets, I'm touching doorbells, I'm driving around on rubber wheels, storing all electricity from the fridge in the van and everything like that. So it's important to me when I have my lunch break, I pull up somewhere, quiet out of the way, I take my boots off, my work boots, and my socks. I open the driver's door and I'll sit next to a body of grass and I'll put my feet on the grass. And sometimes, people walk past and go, that's a bit strange. Look at that guy, eh? He's got his socks and shoes off and he stood there. But again, it's not strange. It's what we all used to do years and years ago. And it just looks weird now because everybody walks around in insulated footwear. So to see somebody in a normal everyday environment with their barefoot on the ground or in the grass, in a normal working environment situation, looks a bit strange. But it's lovely because the company that I work for are really supportive. So I did very much like this, a webinar to all our drivers on our intranet system. And we have a few drivers who do exactly the same now, and they have their lunch barefoot, or they'll go sit in the park. They'll park the van up and go sit in the park and put their back against the tree, or they'll just do something to make it. And they've all said how more focused they are when they get back in that vehicle and they start driving on the second half of their shift. They're more focused and less stressed. Whatever was they were thinking about earlier on is gone. Am I going to get paid correctly, or what's going to happen at work if so 85% of our life working, our living life, we spend worrying about things that probably never going to happen. 15% of the time that's left, we've got so much character and so much strength that we'll deal with it anyway. Okay. And out of that 15% that's left, there's only 0.1% is the actual root cause of that stress in the first place. But 85% of our times we spend worrying about what if it happens? It might not happen. And that's the same with grounding. What that grounding does, it makes you realize actually I'm living for this moment now. It's taking time out for myself, for me. I switch off from everything. The phone goes away, I switch off from social media. And I spend 15 minutes every single morning for me only. And anything that happens around me is nothing to do with me. There could be I could be out in the garden and the guy next door could be mowing his lawn. What I like to do is connect to nature then. So I listen out for sounds that I've not heard for such a long time. So the birds chirping in the trees, the distant hum of the motorway or the traffic, and really, really focus on things that are really important and awakening those senses, awakening grounding is just absolutely a wonderful thing to do. So mind and body practices are something like Tai Chi and Qigong, using grounding stances. I was speaking earlier to Joanna about we have a modality called Zen Chi, which incorporates Qigong, Tai Chi, and Wing Chun, Kung Fu. But it's not the martial arts fighting type stuff. It's all about form work and flowing movements. And we do it in the garden with groups of people, and they come and we spend an hour grounding. We'll do gentle movements, flowing, and it's such a lovely experience. We all connect to each other, and we're all there for the same goal to help each other restore and do natural earthing grounding practices. There's things you can do like meditation with a focus on roots growing from your feet into the earth. And we're going to do that exercise shortly. So people say to me, well, okay, it's all well and good, but I live in a high-rise block of flats, or I can't get out to do that. I don't have a grass. I don't have don't have a lawn, or I have no transport. I can't get out to the sea or something like that. So there are lots of products you can get online, and simple Um, Instruments like you can get earthing sheets to go on your bed, and they connect into the socket in your house. Because don't forget, the house and any building you work in is connected to the earth through an earthing strap into the ground. So I have an earthing mattress and an earthing pillow. So when I'm asleep, I'm connected to the earth outside. And how that works is um, it's a conductive sheet, and you put a normal cotton, um, bed sheet over it. And when I'm laid there, I'm getting all those lovely negative charges running through my body. I have such a good sleep when I have these products. Uh, when I'm using them all the time. There are loads of them on the internet, and you just need to put in earthing grounding sheets or earthing grounding. I have a pair of flip flops, and there's a normal type flip flop, but they're a piece of carbon that runs under the sole and underneath of the um, sole of the flip flop. So when I'm stood on the top of the flip flop, I'm connected to the earth under the strap, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's great if you're walking outside in the forest and you don't want to hurt your feet. You can buy these flip flops, and protect your feet from the sticks and the stones underneath, but you're still doing the grounding as well. If you work on a computer or you're working in an office, there are straps you can buy to put on your wrist, which it has like a little metal like a little metal stud, which is on a Velcro strap, which is connected on a wire, which goes to the socket in your desk or something like that. You're not going to get electrocuted because it's only connected to the earth. You don't need to switch the sockets on because earth is always there anyway, whether the socket is switched on or switched off. I would suggest that if you went to buy something like that online, you'd buy a socket tester just to make sure that your socket is wired up correctly, because you don't know what the electricians are like at work. I know you don't want to be connecting to something that's going to hurt you. So an earthing socket tester, quite cheap on the internet, you can buy as well, just to double check. So I would reiterate that as well. So double check your sockets before you buy any of those products. You don't need to. If you can get outside and you can do it, it's just a wonderful thing to do. Nature immersion. So forest bathing, going out into the forest. Oh, touching trees, listening to the birds, looking up, smelling that lovely earthy smell, just by that visualization and that feeling of having that forest around you, listening to the trees, listening to the forest telling you, you need to be here more often, you need to be there more often. We're quite lucky where we live in the outskirts of Leeds. We're quite rural and we've got lots of forests and nature walks around us. So every day I make a point of walking out in nature, and if I can get my feet on the ground, I will do also. Hugging trees, yes, I'm a tree hugger, everybody. I've already hugged trees while I've been here this morning, and a few other people that were sat around the pool going, "What's a guy doing over there? He's hugging a tree." Or one of those hippies. No, it's not. And then I've already spoken to them, and they've all really, and I've talked to them about earthing and grounding. And tomorrow morning, I've got a few people coming already. I'm going to do some earthing and grounding practices in the ground of the hotel, which is great. Just getting outside, sitting quietly, just soaking up all that lovely ambient sound. And sometimes just silence is a great healer. If you've got something on your mind, something stressful, something that's worrying you or something that's making you just feel a little bit off balance, just by focusing on your breathing, connecting to nature, will 100% restore your body. Lifestyle adjustments are eating root vegetables, because everything that comes from the ground is, is quite good for you. So symbolically and physically grounding is eating root vegetables as well. Crystals, hematite, smoky quartz, black tourmaline, all those type of crystals can help you with grounding as well. I don't know if you're interested, but we are crystal therapists as well. So we love to work with people when they come for treatments. We do a lot of crystal work with those, and hematite is a lovely one for grounding. So you can grab some hematite, pop it in your bag or in your pocket and keep it with you. Charge it up in the sun or in the moon. Um, Moonlight, give them lots of positive energy. And when you go outside and you've got a meeting or you've got something important or you're taking a school and you're feeling stressed, just connect to that crystal in your pocket and that will help you ground as well and make you feel more centered. So what I'd like to do now, if you would like to join me, we're just going to do a short grounding visualization. Oh, somebody's asking what the crystals are. Yeah, sorry. So it's hematite, okay, smoky quartz, or black tourmaline. They're three of the really good ones. So it's hematite, smoky quartz, or black tourmaline. Okay. So if you'd like to join me, I'd like to just sit quiet now. Get yourself comfortable. So I'd like to, if we can, close our eyes, please. So now we'd like to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth with a sigh. And again. And again. Just return to normal breathing. And just sit quietly just for a few seconds and just listen. Now, as we sat there quiet, I'd like you to visualize your feet firmly planted on the ground, and from the soles of your feet, the roots extending deep into the earth, further and further down those roots, journey to the center of the earth, grounding you and centering you. And as you breathe out, you're releasing tension and stress into the ground, through your soles, down those roots to the center of the earth. And as you breathe in, the earth's energy is giving you stability, strength, and calmness. So just for 2 minutes, we'll continue with this visualization. And while we're grounding, I'll just explain that grounding reduces anxiety and stress, improves your energy levels, enhances emotional stability, promotes deeper meditation, supports your physical healing and recovery, cultivates gratitude and prayer. And a quote that I love to use is, when you touch the earth touches you back. like to return back to the room. Take one deep breath in and a big sigh out. I'd like to thank you for spending some time with me today, and I hope you've enjoyed my little talk on earthing and grounding. I'm not the best speaker in the world, but I'm growing in confidence every day, and I could talk for England about the things that I love, and earthing and grounding is one of them. So, thank you for spending some time with me, and I'll hand you back to my lovely host, Sonia. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. That was fantastic. I'm going to stop the recording now because there were a few questions that the ladies had, and we can go through those.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with me, I'm just going to